Hey everyone. Shyamalan's new film, The Watchers, is out. And what's interesting about this film is that you definitely get the influence of her father on her directing and writing style. But she brings her own sensibility and unique storytelling style to the film. And as we get into this review, please be sure to give it a thumbs up if you like it and subscribe for more videos. You will make my day. Thank you. All right, so the Watchers, starring Dakota Fanning, is a really interesting film which takes us deep into the forests of Ireland, where legends and supernaturals may still exist. And Mina, uh, Dakota Fanning's character, Mina gets stuck in the woods in the forest and soon finds herself trapped in a house with three other people and put on display for the unseen watchers who hide in the dark of the woods. And they only come out at night to either share their approval or their displeasure with the people who are trapped inside the house. If these guys are going to survive, they're going to have to find a way out of the house and the forest before night falls. Because if they don't get out, they don't make it back to the house and they don't get out of the forest. I think this is one of those love it or leave it films. This is a dark fantasy. It's a horror film, not a traditional horror slasher or anything like that. And it has some undertones of Pan's Labyrinth blended in with the stark contrast of the supernatural and the supernatural worlds, especially when looking at Irish lore. So even if you think there is a supernatural element to the story, and there's still a surprising twist that M. Night Shyamalan and now his daughter are both known for in order to pay off your expectations while also delivering something that you don't quite expect. The Watchers is an Irish horror film set in the deep woods, and that alone will get people making a lot of assumptions about what the creatures are in the woods and what they might actually be. And if you are at all familiar with Irish mythology, you know that you are not going to find shiny, happy creatures in the woods at night ever. This film is suspenseful and darkly beautiful to watch. The scenes in the woods and in the cabin play with the shadows and the textures that have a way of kind of moving and morphing so that you don't ever quite see what you are seeing. You get vague suggestions of one thing and then another. And this, paired with the color palette of the film, leaning into those darker and dustier tones of the colors on the screen, they create a sense of kind of chill in the air. And they heighten the sense of not quite seeing things as they should be seen. Even the firelight and the electricity in the house seem to get eaten by the darkness around them. And if you have ever walked through an Irish forest at twilight or at night, you know they got this part dead on accurate. Whoever put the trailer together also picked up on these themes within the film so that we get a real sense of the texture and the style and the cinematography, while also giving us just enough clues to get a sense of the story and the location. The trailer gives nothing away. This film could be a psychological thriller or a supernatural horror, and you don't know until you know. If you go into the theater having only seen the trailer, I think you'll actually enjoy the first half of the film. The second half may throw you a bit if you weren't expecting how the film kind of spins the story forward, taking you in this different direction that you either may or may not have expected, or you may or may not like. The characters in the film all felt unique and interesting in their own way, but two stood out. The first is Dakota Fanning, which is no surprise since she's the headliner for the film, but her character was intentionally played with and made to have this underlying depression, which kind of subdued her character a bit to fit the film, which made her understandably just a little bit flat on screen. As someone who suffers from depression, I totally get this. And Mina conveys that deep sadness inside of her, but it also keeps her from being as engaging as some people might want on screen until she puts on a wig and transforms herself into this vivacious woman in the opening bar scene. So there's a real difference in the character that she plays and when she's kind of putting on a character and when she's being herself. And I found that really, really interesting because it parallels with a lot of the other stories in the film and the larger kind of picture within the film. And that just all resonates with the scene when we see her in the reflection in the forest house mirror. Her reflection is kind of blurry and just a little bit distorted, which is just dead on with the type of film that this is and with the things that are happening. Olwen Fouéré, who played Madeline, was also a standout in the film. She was such a compelling character who filled the mother role, keeping all of the people safe as possible, sharing her knowledge of the strange watchers and the rules that they all have to live by in order to keep the watchers happy. She comes off as sincere and honest, even though you can't help wondering how she knows the things she knows and how long she's really been there. There is a mystery to unravel, and you can't help but to feel that she knows more than she is sharing. The other notable characters in the film are the Watchers themselves. The FX designers did a good job of imagining what might be believable in this strange Irish forest. And then they twisted that idea and created this utter sense of dread every time you almost see them. And depending upon the kinds of stories you like, I think you will really like the Watchers reveal. And overall, I really enjoyed this film. It was creepy and fantastical in a very ordinary way, which made it pretty believable in what was actually happening, which is a really nice combination. However, the reveals can be a little bit slow, and I am not sure that the aesthetics of the film are for everyone because darker films with muted colors can feel heavy and slow, and the spin in the story that happens about halfway through changes the look and feel a little bit, which I think can also be just a bit jarring, breaking people out of the film. I didn't have this problem myself because I love the story concept behind the film. I mean, just look at my home office. Of course, I'm going to love a dark fantasy film. However, it may not be a film that is for everyone, and I think young kids will likely be scared by it. So maybe keep it a date night film or a friends night film. All right, that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this review. Please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos. And be sure to let me know what you thought of the film. Did you like it? What did you think of the Watchers as characters in the film? Did you not like it? And if not, why? Let's chat in the comments. I really would love to have something to chat with you guys about. So please do make a comment. Thanks, everybody. I hope you are all doing really well, and I will see you again soon. All right. Bye-bye.